So I'm definitely going to have to write, I feel like, a post on this at some point, but not yet. So over the years, I've kind of gotten a handle on the first phases of the healing process. And they kind of break down into, and I made notes. So I'm looking at my notes. Okay, so they kind of break down into four phases. I could be wrong. This is just what I've come up with so far. Okay, so the first phase is the crisis phase. So this is going to be when you need the harm to end, the victim needs support, the victim has to recognize what's actually happening. They're going to need validation from the people in their life. And then they can move to the processing phase, which is when you really start to integrate your experience and what happened, and you start thinking about, you reconsider events from your past, you recontextualize them. Such a key part of, dealing with traumatic situations, dealing with abuse, dealing with, hard stuff is, in order to deal with them, we often dissociate from parts of ourselves or from reality, and then we gotta reintegrate that. That's really what PTSD is, Your brain goes, oh, it's not safe to deal with this right now. And it puts it on pause. And then you get to a safe place, like you are the soldier returning home, and then suddenly it's like you don't have peace again. But that's because your brain's trying to do you a solid and put all that stuff to the side until you are in a space where you can deal with it. So anyway, the processing phase is really about integrating. You learn about and from your experience, and you accept what happened to you. That grief model kind of plugs in there, like the phases of, bargaining, denial, acceptance, grief. A lot of people mourn for the life they would have had or feel they would have had. And then we kind of move to a transition phase, which is the letting go, moving on, and if this is something that speaks to you and is helpful for you and not harmful, forgiveness, if you want. I have another video on that, and I have articles. So do not feel like I'm telling anybody to forgive someone who's harmed you. That is your own choice that you make for yourself, and no one gets to dictate that to you. People who do that are re-victimizing, right? They're trying to power over you at your expense for their own benefit. They don't get to make those decisions for you. It's your own path. Anyway, so once we move out of that transition phase, we move into like an integration phase. So hopefully we've been learning about relationship skills and like healthy life skills, or if you grew up in an environment where your parents didn't teach you things, like now you got to learn how to like file your own taxes. Life's an adventure. Boundaries tend to be real key here. We end up kind of like reparenting ourselves. I've talked about before about Erickson's stages of development, and literally the very first stage, like as a baby, is that we develop trust that our caregivers will come take care of us when we need them to. Babies cry, and then someone responds, and that's how they start to build trust that the universe is going to be there for them. And so if we did not have that experience, it's harder to move on to the other phases and really integrate them. So we kind of reparent ourselves really through like these stages. For ourselves, if we need help, we show up for ourselves. We realize we can trust, who we are and what we do. Anyway, that's a whole other video. And then we kind of move into an awareness, a new sense of awareness of ourselves. It's very new. And it's not that we are new, it's that how we view ourselves is new. So a lot of the stuff I've been talking about is really coming from that place, of gentle self-acceptance, of gratitude and appreciation, of celebrating the great things about ourselves. You know, are we great all over? No, nobody is. You know, that's part of the fun. You know, that's like a Persian fly. You know, that's not even that paradigm itself is not helpful at all anyway. But so part of this process is going to be forgiving ourselves, not because we've done anything wrong, but because we, along the way, picked up the idea, the feeling, the shame, the blame, that who we are is wrong, and that we need to be better and different. You know, we can always, improve. You know, there's always that balance of like moving forward and improving, or you know, doing better than we did the day before. But at our core, you know, we get to a point where we come to acceptance of who we are, and it takes time. But you know, so we forgive ourselves. Like, I'm a derp often, and often misspeak. It's weird because if you've ever read my writing, it's like, ooh, it's on point, it's amazing. Oh my gosh, I write stuff all day long, and then get into conversation, and my vibe's very different. You know, or can be, I should say. I brought a little bit of like the personality to the writing, but for the most part, you know, it's a surprise. Like, you know, I just be derpy, and instead of feeling like I need to be something different, you know, someone else, instead of feeling like I need to be, I don't know, elegant and sophisticated and articulate and see words. Why are they so hard? So much easier when I'm typing. You know, instead of feeling like I gotta be somebody that's not me, like, shoot, I like me, you know? And that seems like a really simple and even dumb thing to really say. But I didn't like me for so long that it's revolutionary to feel that feeling about myself. And to kind of celebrate, like, oh, being derpy again. You know, and hopefully one day we find ourselves partners and in relationships where the other person is looking at us through that same lens of, okay, so TMI, so sorry. I have straight up horrible feet. Now, I think they're great. I love my feet. They are wide and they are amazing for balance. I'm an excellent dancer, but like if somebody's into feet, like, as a thing, like, I'm not going to be that person. I have dancer feet. Like, and I'm fine with that. And so I was dating this guy, and he goes, oh my gosh, come over here. I love your hobbit feet. And I was like, oh my gosh, you know, because they're objectively ugly. But someone can look at you through the eyes of love. We can look at ourselves through the eyes of love and be fond and find something charming and affectionate that isn't, you know, that's like technically a flaw, but who gives a shit, you know? It's my flaw. And it speaks to my life experience. And that's something that's special and should be special to the right person. So anyway, that's Inva's expanded healing paradigm that I probably need to write about on the subreddit. I'll get to it. It's fine. Anyway, I'll talk to you next time.